to you all. It's exciting to see this many people here. Wow, I haven't had this many people in a class in, I can't tell you how long. So maybe the evening Ignite idea was a good one, you think?
Yep.
Yeah.
It just works so much better for so many other people, so that's awesome. My name is Tim. I've been in real estate for 15 years. I just finished up 15 years in November last year. I pretty much eaten out of this for 14 of those. Sometimes I ate really good. Sometimes I ate a little bit lean. But as I've told people on many occasions, I said, you know, real estate is a great career. It's the most challenging. It'll be the hardest work you ever do, I promise you. If it's not, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed, okay? It's also the most fulfilling. How many of you like solving problems? Okay, problem solving is a lot of what we do. So it's a great profession. It's a very enjoyable profession. The fact that you can make your own schedule can either be your master or your slave. And so when I was teaching in one of the real estate schools, I would always ask the students, I said, so why are you here? Why are you sitting here in these real estate classes? And they would give me some of the most asinine answers that you've ever heard. And I don't want to offend anybody here, but they'd say, I want to be my own boss. Okay, great, that's awesome. Do you have any idea what that means? Well, not really. Okay, so now we have a problem, right? They would say, well, you know, we listed our house 3 years ago and it sold in one day and the agent made $10,000 on the deal. And I'm like, I can do that. You know, maybe you were one of the lucky ones, okay? It was always interesting to find out why people were in real estate. You guys have some great reasons for being here. Again, it's the hardest work I've ever done. It's the most gut-wrenching job I've ever had. It's what the people goes, but it's also some of the most enjoyable. It's the most fun. I mean, every day is, there's no routine to speak of. Every day can be different. And what you're going to learn and pick up in Ignite are things about setting a schedule and managing your time. Real estate will run you ragged if you let it. I promise you. But you get to decide, what does it mean to be run ragged? Some people have a lot more stamina than others. Okay? Some people say, I want to work from 8 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning till 7 at night and I'm done. You'll learn that you probably need to not answer phone calls at any hour of the day or night. Because there will be clients that will call you at 9 o'clock, thinking you have nothing else to do. Okay? So you're going to learn a lot of these kind of things about how to run a business. At Keller Williams, this is one thing we look at. Don't look at this as a job. It's a business. And you need to think of it as a business. You need to run balance sheets. We're going to talk a little bit about some of that through the course of Ignite. And you make plans, you set goals, you set your targets, and you work to beat those goals. Okay? Because really, we don't necessarily care what your goals are. I don't want that to come across the wrong way. We do care, but it's your goal, and you know what you want to get out of this. Okay? It may be if I can make $5 grand a month, I'm going to live a very happy life. Some people may say, if I got to make 20 grand a month, I have a very happy life. Do what I want to do. And so that's going to be a big piece of it. So let me skip the screens here. If I can actually figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, so we're going to talk about igniting your business. What does that mean to ignite? What does that word mean to you? Start, okay. Launch, okay. Don't we usually think of ignite as a fire? A fire. How are we going to set fire to this new career? Not burn it up, but build the heat, okay, and make it work. So, let me ask you a question. Have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far?
Are we talking about this one?
No, your career in general. Have you achieved your goals? No right or wrong answer here. Yes? No? Some have, some haven't. Some of us went into a career thinking it would be a little bit different. than what it turned out to be, right? I'm a medical technologist by education. I was a blood banker. You know what a blood banker is? You know what a blood banker is. So I used to tell people, say, well, what does a medical technologist do? I said, basically we, handle other people's bodily fluids and figure out what makes them work. It sounded kind of cool, but it also sounded kind of gross. Because we played in everything. I'm just gonna tell you, we played in everything. All right. So one thing that drew me to that is I wanted to feel like I was contributing to something. I was providing help. I'm helping people do things, helping people get better. And as my career had continued to grow, I became a blood banker. One of the few places in the medical laboratory where you actually get to feel like a little bit of a detective. I haven't been in a medical lab in probably, well, I know at least 15 years or more, okay? A lot of it's push button. Put this fluid up under the little pipette that draws it up and then you push the button. You may not even have to do that anymore. They can just pour it up and load it on the right and then it spins around and it goes through its thing and does its stuff. Okay? But I love blood banking because I got to be a little bit of a detective. And as I look back on that now, I kind of get to do that in real estate. A lot of times we're just playing detective. So did that. Then I went into sales, and I was in sales for probably about 20 years or so. And learned a lot of skills there, a lot of things not to do, and how to do things better. And so, kind of been a sales guy for about 25 years, something like that. I used to tell people, they say, well, how did you know what you wanted to do? I said, well, I didn't know. I didn't really know when I was younger. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I finally decided I either needed to be a sales guy, a preacher, or a politician. Because that's the only three things I could do to get paid for running my mouth. And so, that's how I kind of evolved into this. And when I first went to real estate school, Steve Chater, one of my good friends, when I was going through this transition, one of my, Steve, one of my mentors said, what are you going to do? Because the company had been bought out. I knew I wasn't going to keep my job. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't really sure. And some of you may have been through that before. And he said, why don't you go to real estate school? And I'm going, real estate, Yeah, because they rank just one step above, politicians in a lot of cases. That was my impression. And so I went to real estate school. And basically I just kind of evolved. Well, I got through the classes, well, I might as well take the test. And then I thought, well, I passed the school test, I might as well take the state test. So I took that and I passed that and I said, well, I've come this far, I might as well activate the license and let's see what we can do with this. And the rest is history. I ended up getting a broker's license. I have no desire to be a designated broker, it's not what I want to do. I did that for my own, quite honestly, it was kind of ego as much as anything. Because I wanted to just say, I'm a broker. I got it to be able to teach at the real estate schools. So I did that for a while. But so, you have to decide, have you achieved your goals so far? Have you accomplished what you thought you were going to? Don't do like me and wake up 40 years from now and go, God, why am I no further along than I am? Doesn't matter what that looks like. Why am I not even further along? So you get some cues here for your answers. So what's the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than the other one? What does that say? Can you guys read it? Do I need to enlarge it?
Lead
Generating leads. This was a huge thing for me. When I finally kind of wrapped my arms around that, going the wrong way, I guess. You are not in the sales business. You are not in the home design business. You are not in any of those kinds of business. You are in the lead generation business. How many of you have read The One Thing? Some of you have read that. What's the first thing Gary says in there? one of the first things. And in some of the other KW classes you're going to hear. May not be maybe in different, but Millionaire Real Estate Agent, how many of you read that? Or have a copy of it, you need to get into it, okay? Until you've done your lead generation, really this is what you're gonna learn. Until you've done your lead generation, nothing else matters. Get out of your way. Okay? Do your lead generation. Do it first thing in the morning. Whatever your first thing in the morning looks like. How many of you are early risers? How many of you can sleep till 7:30, 8 o'clock? Garrett, you're young, you probably sleep till 10, you know, but you don't go to bed till 1. Me, I'm awake by 5:30, I don't get up. But, you know, I'm awake by about 5:30, but by 8:30, I'm done. I'm just, there ain't no more thinking, there's no more trying to solve issues, I'm done. And by 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm in bed. Yes, I'm old. Okay? Whatever your first thing in the morning looks like, whatever time of day that is, lead generation. Now what you're gonna learn in this class is one of the key things is call early. If you're calling on the phone, call early. You'll see some videos throughout this class. Well, there's a guy, he's on the phone at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm telling you what, if my phone rings at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna unload on you if I answer it. Anybody else like that?
Oh, yeah.
No, leave me the heck alone. I'm not even thinking straight yet about this, okay? So whatever that lead generation is gonna look like for you. So what can we do to lead gen besides make phone calls? Huh? Write letters, okay, is that really lead gen or is that marketing? Kind of a combination of the two in some ways. Okay, texting has become a huge piece of that. Email I don't consider lead gen. Huh? Facebook can be, if you use Facebook at a very high level. Door knocking.
Open houses.
Open houses.
Talking.
Huh?
Introduce yourself.
Just talking to people. What if you're standing in line at the grocery store? Can you lead generate at the grocery store? How do you do that? Here's the easiest conversation to have. The easiest thing in the world you can do. Hi. And if they talk back, we have a conversation going, okay? If they don't, next. Just learn to say hi. That'll be a huge, huge help for you, okay? So, different kinds of lead generation. Why doesn't every agent do it? What does it say?
It's hard.
It's hard.
Is it hard?
Yeah, it can be hard.
Huh?
It can be hard.
You can make it hard, okay? Instead of saying, I have to do my lead gen today, say, I get to lead gen today. Words mean things, right? I get to lead gen today. That's what I'm doing. And here's a cool thing, if you say I'm gonna do it for 3 hours every day, which is what our model says, if you're gonna do it for 3 hours every day, do it. And when the 3 hours is done, poor God, I got that off my plate today. And it's okay to feel that way. It's all right to do that. So, some people think it is hard. It's really not that hard. It's a discipline. Difference in the two. Is there not? There's a difference there. Okay? Here's what it comes down to. Is your desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing the one thing that will make you successful? How many of you like picking up the phone and calling people? Okay, some of us do. I can do that all day long. If I've got a good list of people to call, I don't care what they say. I really don't. As long as I've got a list, I can make phone calls all day long. Steve Chater used to tell me, because I worked on Steve's team, and some of you know Steve, some of you may not. He said, I don't think I've ever had anybody on my team who could work the phones like you can. Well, why wouldn't I? See, to me, that's totally logical. For some people, it's not. That's okay. But you learn what you're going to get. Now, here's the other thing I'm going to tell you. Throughout Ignite, you're going to learn all kinds of ways to prospect for business and lead generate and all these different things that you can do. Here's a big aha for you. You're not gonna like them all. Some of them you're gonna hate, but you don't know that you hate it yet. So what I'm gonna say is, do it enough to figure it out if you're gonna like doing it. And then do the stuff that you like. Some people love open houses. I kinda like open houses. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I do them because that's what I need to be doing, okay? Some people love calling on the phone. Some people don't. How many of you like on the phone? I already asked you that. Some of you like being on the phone, okay? How many of you like knocking on doors? See, I like knocking on doors too, because now I'm face to face, and they're a lot nicer to me face to face than they are on the phone. Would you agree? Is that right? Yeah, absolutely. So, knocking on doors. So find the things that you can do. Do it enough to figure out whether you're gonna be good at it and you like it enough to keep doing it. And so start out doing the 2 or 3 things that you like and enjoy, and then you can add the other stuff on it. Because here's what's gonna happen. As your skills get stronger, you'll feel more confident doing the things that you don't like. Fair statement? Okay. All right, so your desire to succeed has to be greater than your fear of doing it. Here again, the one thing that can propel you forward in your career is lead generation. Leads, 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 leads. The person with the most leads wins. Period. Okay? You are in sales, but you're really in the lead generation business and the business of real estate. And if you will keep that in mind, keep that lead gen at the forefront of your thoughts. This is your number one activity every single day. Every day. If you do that, guess what's going to happen? Do you think you're going to stumble on that one that'll say, well, yeah, I've kind of been thinking about selling my house. Funny you should call. We're getting ready to make plans to buy. Who do you do? Holy crap. How about calling people you already know? Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate?
You don't know until you call.
You don't know until you call. And I've done that, and I've dialed and dialed and dialed and dialed. And all of a sudden I get this person that says, oh yeah, my father-in-law needs to sell this place. He's living in California, divorce situation, all this kind of stuff. I said, would it be okay if I gave him a call? Sure. And now I get a phone number. Joe, this is Tim. I was talking to your son Barry the other day. He was very nice and cordial enough to let me know that you may be looking to sell a property here in Arizona. Is that true? Yes, it is. And he suggested I give you a call and see if we can work something out where either you're over there, that we can still get the house sold for you there. Is that okay? Sure. Now I got agreement. Next step, lock it down. Okay? So, lead generation is important. Mindset and attitude matters. What do we mean by that? What did you do? Sometimes I hate computers. Where did that? Oh, okay. All right. How many of you, have you ever just felt like you're really down? Just down. Okay, you know, stuff just isn't working, it's not going right. I would expect all of you to raise your hand because we've all been through that, haven't we? We all been like, what else can I do? And so the focus has to be on being of service. What do we mean by that? When to help and to be open, okay? Not what's in it for you. Wow, that's huge. Yeah, absolutely. How can I help you? Is there anything that we can help you with related to real estate? I don't want to say you can loan $1,000 because I don't want to do that. Okay? So come from a service perspective. I'll tell you, I'm struggling with this thing here. This thing about mindset and an attitude. How many of you ever heard the statement, if whether you think you can or think you can't, either way you're right? Boy, there's so much truth in that. So much truth in that. I've been an avid reader for a number of years of different types of books, and a lot of them were self-help and motivational kind of things and that kind of stuff. And you know, you'd see that over and over again. Why does this keep going to sleep? Okay, wait a minute. If I can get my finger going the right direction on the wheel. All right, 6 personal perspectives. Mindset and attitude are at the forefront, as we said. The model says we have mindset, attitudes, and approach to the life. What is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish as much? What makes the difference?
Can-do attitude.
A can-do attitude. Okay. What else? What do you think? The effort, doing the work. Okay? All right? Mindset is huge. Attitudes. Does everybody's life suck at some point in time? Absolutely. Sometimes life just sucks. You know? But yours probably don't suck as bad as somebody else's does. There's always somebody that's worse off than you. Who was it talking about working with the underprivileged kids or something? Anita? You always find somebody that's worse. You think you've seen the worst possible case that could be out there, and all of a sudden something else happens, doesn't it?
You make a turn and I would think, oh my God, this one is the worst. But another one comes in and it was 10 times worse.
Yeah.
You didn't even fathom how it could be worse.
So we don't know how bad it can be, so quit wallowing in your self-pity. Sometimes it just sucks, it just does. That's how life is. Yeah.
If it's not working, change it up, do
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah.
I talked to this, a couple that were real estate agents during the downturn, during the recession, and they did exceptionally well.
Mhm.
They made more money then than they're making now.
Yeah.
Because they just had the mindset that we're gonna do this and
Figure out how to make it work.
and they did.
Yeah. It's like, this is what I've chosen to do. By golly, I gotta figure out how to make it work. Because my mortgage is due next month. Okay? So, mindset, attitudes, your approach to life. Is life good? Yeah. Can life be better? Yeah. Can life be worse? Absolutely. But you know what? We have a pretty darn good life. If nothing else, think about life here versus other countries in the world. We got it pretty darn good here. Something that happened to me a few years ago. I was kind of in a gripey, complaining mood. Now, this was back when I was in my 20s. Long time ago. And one of my friends said, "Tim, I need to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." He said, "Is it okay if I'm honest with you?" Yeah. "Well, how honest can I be?" I said, "Just shoot it. Yeah, tell me, what are you talking about, Don? Just talked to him last week." And he said, "You need to understand the importance of being thankful and a grateful spirit." And man, it was like, he might as well take that 2 life and hit me in the head. But it changed my life. Because it's like, you know, it's pretty easy for us to sit back and complain. Pretty darn easy to complain. But have you ever thought about being thankful for the crap you're in? All right, this ain't where I want to be, but there's something I need to learn from this. You happen to be of a spiritual, religious persuasion, thank the Lord that He's brought me here, because there's obviously something I need to learn. And I'd rather learn it quicker than later, because I need to get through all this junk. Okay? So this is all part of that attitude and approach to life. How do we make it agreeable and work for us? Stop it. What is it doing? Wish it wouldn't time out like that. Okay, commit to self-mastery. This says self-mastery is the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. When you commit to self-mastery, you know your goals. Many of you know your goals. Some of you do. Probably you hadn't quite figured some of that out yet, because how many of you this is kind of new information for you? You've never been taught these kinds of things before. And I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, because that's not what that's about. You may not have ever been taught these kind of things before. Goals. Know your goals. What are they going to be? Know your strengths and weaknesses. What are you good at? What do you stink at? Okay? Do the stuff that you're good at. Okay? Back to the lead gen thing. Some of those things are going to be good. Some of them you're not going to be so good at. Do the stuff you're good at. And what you're not good at, hire somebody else to do for you if it needs to get done anyway. Huge, huge thing that I can learn. So, like transaction management, I hate that stuff. You would think I was a blood banker, that I would just be all over all of these minute details, and I hate that crap. I would a whole lot rather be out there trying to find another lead, get another deal going, than I had thinking around with all this stupid stuff. Do I need to know it? Yeah, I need to have a good understanding of it, but can I hire that talent? And the cool thing is, you can hire that talent on an as-needed basis. Okay? We've got several transaction managers here, so if you don't like doing that kind of stuff, pay them to do it when it comes time. And they only get paid if the deal closes. How good a deal is that? You know, it doesn't cost me anything to initiate those conversations. If you haven't met Jana, or we haven't talked about Jana or Sandy, you know, great people. Pick up their cars downstairs, give them a call, say, hey, Tim said I should talk to you, I'm a new agent, what can you do to help me with transactions? And let me tell you, they both are godsends. They are
I
godsends.
just hired Jana for my last transaction. I've been doing all this on my own and just feeling like overwhelmed. And I hired Jana this last one. I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have hired her from day one.
Is it worth the $300 or so?
Oh, yeah.
All day
Oh my
long,
God,
man,
all
all day long.
Yeah, Jana's really good. I don't know the other one. I mean, she's probably good too.
Yeah,
but-
Sandy's same, Sandy's been
Yeah,
around
I'm
a
sure
long
they're all.
time.
And I mean, I can do it and I'm fine with it. It's just that that's not what my goal is to do paperwork. My goal is to go out and do business and
Yep.
service my clients the best I can.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that, you know, communicate with everyone and make sure. She even did some paperwork I didn't even know that was required.
She just
you know?
takes care of stuff.
She just takes care of it.
And you need to do your job,
Yeah.
obviously, you know, you
Yeah.
can't just
She'll
dump
keep
it in or
doing
out.
her job.
But I mean, she got to the point with me, where she said, Tim, just send me the contract, and tell me, and put me on the file, and go.
Yeah.
Run with it, go with it, child, if you need something, let me know, and that's kind of the way we work, and it just works out really well, so thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's worth its weight in gold.
And like, can I say, well, like open houses, I quit doing them for so long, because I hate signs. You know, you wear a dress, and you're out in the middle of the
Signs
street.
is the worst.
The signs are the worst. You can hire people to do signs, like I think they're called sign helpers or something. It costs a little bit of money, but now you're out there doing it. They
Yeah.
don't put up all the signs for you. They know all the regulations too for the city, like how many signs you can have.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to like spend a little money and hire people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And worth, I hate the signs. I hate that worse than anything. That's the worst part about open houses for me. I can do them all flipping day long. Somebody else put the daggum signs out there, because I hate driving around and getting those out. And because it takes you 30, 45 minutes sometimes if you're putting a number of signs out. It's a pain in the butt. You know, hire somebody else to do it. Whatever, however you're gonna figure out how to do that. So, oh God, how do we get down that road? Oh, strengths and weaknesses is what we were talking about. What are you good at? What are you not gonna be good at? Okay? Know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to seek and master the necessary knowledge, skills, and habits to reach your goals. What's it gonna take for you to get where you wanna go? Learn the skills and the dang it. So, our goal with Ignite is to help you get, begin learning the skills and developing the habits to be successful. You're not gonna master these things straight out of the chute. but do it enough where you can master it. I mean, you could add 2 + 2 the first time you ever solve that equation. My granddaughter's in 3rd grade. And, she's trying to work through some of this stuff. My grandson is going into he'll be 12, so what is that, 6th grade?
Yes.
Next year? And so, they're starting to learn multiplication tables. And he's pretty good with them, but you get much beyond the 3s or the 4s tables, you've kind of been lost so far. So, just got to do it enough to where you can master it. Commit to the 80-20 principle. What do we mean by that? What do we mean by the 80-20% principle?
20% is what you want to focus on, because that's what's going to give you the.
Okay? 80% of your effort should be spent on developing the 20% that you need. Okay? Because that other 80%, it will happen. The 80% is what you can hire in most cases. Okay? So focus on the big rocks. We've all seen that illustration where they put the rocks in the glass or whatever, and how many can you get in there, and that kind of stuff. 20% are what we call your money-making activities. What are money-making activities? Lead gen is number 1. Okay? What else?
Marketing.
Huh?
Marketing.
Marketing can be a dollar productive activity. Follow up. Contracts. Yeah. Once you get the contract, but then you get the Jenna or Sandy. Okay? You guys do that. Because that's not really a dollar productive activity for you, is it? Okay? Once I get the contract, that's dollar productive. The rest of it may or may not be. Okay? So focus on those dollar productive activities, the things that matter the most, and the number 1 thing, of course, is lead generation. Huge. Now you're going to see this. You see this illustration in a number of different classes that we have throughout Keller Williams. We talk about going from E to P. What does E to P mean?
Entrepreneurial to purpose.
Entrepreneurial to purpose. Okay? What do we mean by entrepreneurial?
Somebody who has
Huh?
somebody who's looking at things as a new way to do it and out there to achieve something without having a purpose behind it.
Okay. All right. And if we talk about going to P, to purposeful, what does that mean?
We've already got the system.
Got the systems, now we're doing it, okay? I think of, when we talk about E to P too, a lot of times, the E is doing what comes naturally. That's just our natural abilities. I kind of have the gift of gab, which is good or not good. My school teachers never thought it was good, because every one of my report, some of you old enough to remember report cards where the teacher made the comments every 6 weeks, some of you go, what are you talking about? And say, Tim's improving here, he talks too much. He's doing better in his math, and he's getting better here, but he still talks too much. I can show them to you almost every 6 weeks, year after year after year when I was in elementary school. He talks too much. I knew I needed to be a preacher, a politician, or a sales guy, because that's the only way I can get paid from running my mouth. All right? So, the entrepreneurial is more about doing what's natural. It comes completely easy for you. The purposeful may be more difficult. And what you'll see, I don't know if we get to this in this class or not, we hit this ceiling, we hit these ceilings of achievement. Okay? And we improve our skills, and then we break through that ceiling. And we go further, and we hit the ceiling again. And then we break through that ceiling. So it's all about continuing to improve your skills and getting to purposeful and mastery in what we're wanting to do. Now here's another thing that's huge. Make learning based the foundation of your plan. What do we mean by learning based? absorb everything you can. Right now, guys, I know you feel overwhelmed. If you're pretty new, you just feel like, holy crap, there's a lot to learn. I know. You'd be lying if you told me it wasn't. Okay? There's a lot of stuff to learn, a lot of things to wrap your arms around. When I look at your, basically your assignments from class to class, and week to week, I'm like, God, that's a lot of stuff. But it's like how you eat an elephant. One bite at a time. One day at a time. Do it, be purposeful, be on task, and get the stuff done. You're a nurse, right? No.
No, not clinical.
Was nursing overwhelming at first?
Be around it, yeah.
Oh,
You know.
God, yeah. When I was in school, I thought, because I love microbiology, and I thought, God, that's a lot of stuff to learn. You got this organism and that organism, and it reacts this way, and it reacts that way, and why does it look like that? And because, the only one thing I can remember, anybody know what E. coli is? Okay, I remember E. coli fluoresced under the microscope. That's the only thing I can remember from my microbiology days for the most part. And I know what certain, I know what a rod is, a bacterial rod, and I know what a sphere is. That's about as much as I remember that stuff now. Been away from it way too long. So, it's all overwhelming. Anytime you start something new, it's a little overwhelming. Garrett, what was your major?
Economics.
Oh, God. Was that a little overwhelming?
It has been and it will be more.
Because why? And it changes. It's nothing consistent or constant about economics, is it?
It's just theories for how things should be or appear to be, but.
Okay, so you have all these factors in this simple economics. It's money. You buy, you sell, it's economics, right? In its simplest form. When we start getting into macro and micro and you've lost me. People like you make my eyes glaze over. So is learning important? Is skill enhancement important? Absolutely. Go to every class you can, especially early on. Now, there'll come a time when you'll go, yeah, I feel like I pretty much mastered that. But have you ever been to a class 3 or 4 times and you go, well, I've never heard that before? It happens all the time. My father was a minister. Can't tell you how many sermons I heard preached on whatever particular passage in the Bible you want to talk about. And I always heard something different if I was paying attention. There's a lot of times I did. I was a preacher's kid, so good things kids at the ball, right? So you can always be learning, and that's huge. Oh shoot, what was this doing here? All right, I'm not happy with how this is looking. Okay, we did eat a pig, right? Okay, this says, remove your limiting beliefs. What do we mean by that? What are limiting beliefs? Huh? You can't do that. What makes you think you can be a real estate agent? Anybody ever tell you that? Yeah. We're going to anybody who know. Yeah, and does that mean they don't care, they don't like you? No. Did everybody tell the Wright brothers they would never be able to fly a plane? Yeah. Most of them did. Did Louis Pasteur ever figure out a vaccine? Was he the polio guy? Did he find the vaccine for polio? Did anybody ever think that would happen? No. So just because somebody else thinks it limits you, does it have to limit you? Do you have to succumb to that, if you will? You have to give in to that. Totally not. You don't know what you can do until you know what you can do.
The worst ones are the ones that did real estate and they maybe tried it and got one no and then quit. And then they're like, oh, just go back to teaching. It's horrible. You'll never make it. And like, well, just because you didn't make it doesn't mean I can't make it.
Yeah.
So careful
Exactly.
of people who have tried it.
Yeah, there's a lot of asinine reasons for people sitting in that classroom. Stupid, just dumb. And sometimes I would kind of tell myself, well, that's not a good reason to be sitting in this class. You know, I said, well, I figured we could sell our own house and save the commission. That was the one I got with. Really? Really? That's why you're here? So you're gonna spend, you know, roughly $2,000 to get through school and hang your license with a brokerage, take your test, put yourself through all that anguish, all that time, all that expense, so you sell your own house? I didn't tell them they were dumb, but that's what I wanted to. You know, so, remove your limiting beliefs, things that hold you back. I don't know if I can do that. You also don't know that you can. Do you? My daddy said, can't, never could. You know, so I'm old southern redneck, we have all kinds of stuff like that. So can't, never could. How do you know? How do you know? And I'd say things like, it's hard. You could have said that, but it's hard. Told your parents that? It's hard. Of course it is. If it was easy, everybody would do it. I tell my grandkids that now, my father. So, get rid of your limiting beliefs. Here's a good one. I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. You ever felt like that?
Yes.
The answer is yes. We all felt that way. It's like, God, man, I don't know. Here, the first deal I had, on Steve's team, we had a lot over off of like Greenfield and like Baseline or Waterloo Bay, somewhere along in there. It was a lots that were for custom homes. And the guy decided he wanted to buy this lot. So he said, well, what do I need for earnest money? What do you think I told him?
I don't know.
I told him $10,000. He about croaked. What? Well, we can probably make it a little less. I had no flipping idea. No idea whatsoever what earnest money to amount to be. Did I feel really stupid after that? Yeah, but you know what? He still bought the property. And he didn't have to put $10,000 on his earnest money. So, I always tell people, screw it up enough until you get it right. It's okay to screw it up. You know, nobody else is gonna know you screwed it up but you. He didn't know that I screwed it up, even though he's like a little shocked. Okay? He didn't screw it up enough to get it right. Okay? Make enough mistakes to learn. Get rid of your limiting beliefs. I'll need to invest a lot of money to kickstart my real estate career. You've invested most of the money that you're gonna have to invest to get going, your school, test, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for saying this or not, but be cautious of the people that always have something to sell you in a magic pill. Because everybody's got something. If you just do this, this is gonna revolutionize your business, and it's only something $9.95 a month.
That's it.
Huh?
Sounds like a deal.
I said it's something $9.95. So it's either $19.95, $29.95, $109.95, $139. Everybody's got something to sell you out there because they're all salespeople. Okay? Now, if you've got plenty of money, that's entirely your business. You can decide that. Talk with your mentor, whoever you're working with, before you start doing that kind of stuff for us. So, all right? You don't have to invest a lot of money to be successful. But what's the one thing you can do? What did we talk about at first? Lead generation. Does it cost you any money to generate leads? What does it cost you? Time and effort and courage and education. All stuff you have right here that doesn't cost you anything. Right? You're gonna have a phone anyway, you might as well use it. I mean, really, you know? Okay? So, you don't need to invest a lot of money. Here's a big one here. Because I'm in the business will come to me naturally. I don't need to devote 3 hours each day to lead generation. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna have one of your friends call you one on Saturday afternoon about 6 o'clock. And they're gonna go, Andy, you're not gonna believe what just happened. What? We just bought a house today, I'm so excited. Great, that's nice. You know, I don't have to happen to you but once to make you talk to those people and call those people who you thought would absolutely use you. Absolutely. It happened to me earlier this year. People I've been in touch with, yeah, we're gonna buy a house, we're looking towards probably March or April, okay? And so I'm feeding them the stuff, marketing to them, making phone calls, she's younger, so she didn't answer phone, she'd always text. And then she said, oh, we went to this new building the other day and we bought it. And here's what they said.
You don't need a agent.
No, they don't need an agent, they didn't say that. They said, we didn't want to bother you. And the reason she didn't want it because I had 2 strokes in January. And we didn't want to bother you because we knew you didn't say, bother me for crying out loud. I get paid to be bothered, okay? So, you don't want that to happen to you. So don't think that business is just gonna come to you just because you're in the business and because you know all these people who absolutely, they wouldn't go anywhere else.
Did you tell them that you had the stroke because someone didn't bother you?
Yeah, that's what I should have done. One of the reasons I had these 2 strokes is because of people like you. No, I didn't say that. All right, so turn limiting beliefs into unlimiting beliefs. So how could you say this differently? How would you redirect these negative thoughts into positive ones? So into unlimiting beliefs as opposed to limiting beliefs. I need to be a professional, not an expert. Expertise will come from doing. This training will best prepare me for success. So you don't have to be an expert. Here's something that I lean on a lot, even after 15 years, said, you know what, I've not had that question before. I'm not sure, but let me find out for you, and I'll call you back this afternoon. Is it okay to tell people? I don't know. Would I not have been better off to tell the guys that I told him $10,000 for earnest money because I didn't want to make a fool of myself, and what did I do? I made a fool of myself. Okay? Would not I have been much better off to say, let me check for you and see what the seller's asking for?
It's one of the best learning experiences for the two.
Absolutely. I've never forgotten it. I've never forgotten it. I can tell you where I was sitting and at my house in Val Vista Lakes, in my little kitchen nook, and looking at that contract and talking to him on the phone. And I'll never forget it. So that was a learning opportunity. Okay? You don't need to be an expert. You need to be professional. What do you mean by professional?
Will you carry yourself and the way you respond to things that are needed?
Okay, all right. And again, I think a big deal is it's okay to say, I'm not sure. Oh, I haven't had that question before. Because if you'd had it before, you'd know the answer, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay? If I haven't had that question before, let me find out, and can I call you this afternoon? That's perfectly acceptable.
It's always a good way to get their information too, if you're just chit chatting.
Yeah.
Hey, how could you remember?
What's the best number to reach you, and I'll call you back this afternoon. It's okay to play dumb sometimes, okay? To consistently have business, I will have to consistently go after it. Here's the thing. I can't afford to miss 3 hours of lead generation. That's my future. That's my flipping job. Would you blow your job off if you were working for an employer? And I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, too. Right? So, you can't afford to miss that. So you're going to be learning about fighting your limiting beliefs. Crying out loud. Be accountable. What do you mean by that?
Do what you say you're going to do.
Okay, do what you say you're going to do. All right, so hold yourself accountable. What else do we mean?
Take responsibility.
Take responsibility. still looking for one thing.
Make it happen if you want it to happen.
Huh?
Make it happen if you want it to happen.
Make happen what you want to make happen, okay?
Don't make excuses.
Don't make excuses.
You said that in real estate before, it used to have to do with the money being not for the money, like earnest money and stuff like that. It's not so much anymore, it's just usually goes to.
Okay. How many of you have parents? Were you accountable to your mom and dad? And did you do what you were supposed to be doing? And if you didn't, what happened?
Consequences.
There were consequences. Okay? You will hear a lot about coaching inside KW. Well, pretty much. Most successful people have coaches, I don't care what profession they're in. Why does a professional athlete need a coach?
You get better.
To get better, okay? Why do little leaguers need coaches? To learn, okay? So you have to have somebody holding you accountable. And I tell you, it won't be you because you let yourself off the hook. It won't be your spouse because your spouse will let you off the hook, because if they really do it, you're gonna get irritated. It has to be somebody outside, and in my opinion, has no vested interest in your business. Okay? So, figure out how you're gonna make that work. There's opportunities for that here inside the company. We've got people that you can talk to. There's, you know, Stephanie was used to be our productivity coach, but she's not in that role any longer. So we're working to replace that. So just know that you need to have someone holding you accountable. Now, you can, some of the things that you can do. Have an accountability partner. Maybe it's Janet, maybe it's me, maybe it's whoever, you know. But have somebody who will help hold you accountable to do the things you said you want to do. And there need to be consequences for not doing that. Okay? Huge issue. Everything in my life is a result of my choices and actions. I own my life. Isn't that true? Everything we have is always a result of something we did or did not do. Just the way it is, you know. Okay. All right. Unite's going to provide you with tools to develop and cultivate your accountability to be successful. Let me see if this is. No, it's not there. You might want to write this site down on your KW. Go to mykw.kw.com and search for Six Personal Perspective. I think there's 6 videos there, if I'm not mistaken. And when you have some time that you can watch, maybe one a day or one a week, whatever it is, will help you gain some insight into. Really? Well, we're already on page 12 and we only have an hour and a half to go. Out of 71. I guess I better get a move on. Getting the most out of this experience. I'm going to tell you something, you'll get out of this what you put into it, out of it. Do the work, be focused, commit to do the things you need to do, commit to review the material, commit to do the things that are there to help you grow and get better. God, what is this doing? So look at these 3 different things. The prisoner has to be there. Doesn't want to be there, don't know why they're there. Okay? Let's hope none of you are that way. Like they said, I had to go to Ignite, so I'm going to Ignite. Okay? A day in training is better than a day on the job. That's the vacationer. It's like, gee whiz, at least I don't have to have anybody breathing down my neck all day long. Okay? Versus the explorer who's excited and curious about the new knowledge, skills, and tools. So, understand these various levels of participation inside Ignite. Now, we talk about a capper. You guys know what the term capper means? Anybody that doesn't know what a capper is? Yes, no? Okay, all right. So we have splits that we pay with Keller Williams Integrity First. And we talk about a capper being that person who's paid their $15,000 in to the company through their transactions so that they don't pay the company anymore for their career year, if you will. Okay. So if you came on in February, then your capper year will runs from February through January next year. And then it starts over in February. So that's what we mean by capper. You paid all to the company that you needed, then you basically end up being at 100%. Doesn't that sound pretty good? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Look at these different characteristics here. The president doesn't engage, vacation, spends as much time chatting as listening. Thank you all for not having all these side conversations going on, but it's pretty easy to do in a class this big. Right? Listen, participate, spends less time catching up on their emails. Oh my God, is email not the biggest intrusion in your life there ever has been? I got to where I absolutely hate it. It's just a necessary evil, and it is the biggest time suck in most of our lives. If it's not yet, it will be once you've been around the business a while. Because everybody and their brother send you emails about some special deal. We got this class, or we got that. Or stop it. I don't want to see all that crap. So you learn ways to figure out how to do that. They're to have fun. Well, I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy the class. I want you to get something out of it, but the real goal is for you to learn it. I want you to feel like that this was worth your time and not yours.
Poor timing.
Okay, so I want you to enjoy it. I want you to feel like you're learning something, but I don't want it to be a drag for you. So have a little fun. Ask meaningful questions and contribute ahas. What do we mean by an aha?
Light bulb moment.
Huh?
Light bulb moment.
A light?
Light bulb.
Oh, a light bulb moment. Yeah, okay, it's like, boom, wow, I've never thought about it that way before. Okay. Have you had any of those yet? Couple. Please say yes. Humor me, will you? Yeah, you want to have those light bulbs moments. Of course, here you're not going to be escaping by spending time at home on your phone. We're not going to really be doing breaks. If you need to go to the restroom or stuff, whatever, you can just step out and go and then come back. Because actually this class is designed for 3 hours. We're doing 2.5 hours. And I'm a yammer, so. Arrive to class on time, return promptly. Hold on to limiting beliefs. Not place where we want to go. Not purposeful in their learning goals. What does that mean? Doesn't that kind of come back to commitment, accountability? We say we're going to this class, we need to go to this class, and then we need to apply what we're learning in there. Steve Tater says, education without implementation is purely entertainment. Huge. Sometimes I've been known to say, I really don't care if you're entertained. I hope you enjoy it. But my goal's not entertainment. The goal is for you to learn. And then implement what you learn. Oh, who's the guy that picks fights with trainers? Believe it or not, when I was teaching at the real estate school, this was in a broker class, okay? And we had to teach the pre-licensing classes separate from the broker classes. And I had a kid in there, and I say he was a kid because he couldn't have been any more older than Garrett. Well, he had to be a little bit older because he would have had to have a real estate license for 3 years. And he sat there, biggest slacker I've ever seen in my life. I mean, of course, it's coming from an older guy, but these young whippersnappers, they're just, his whole class, he didn't take a single note. You know what he did? He took pictures of every slide. Really, dude? Are you that flippin' lazy? So, we know that if you hear it, you remember a certain percentage. If you write it down, you'll keep it. So that's always important. So don't pick fight with it. And I try to get the guy, you need to start taking your notes. Find out, just got how to find the guy. Just let him go. If you pass, I don't care. Isn't paying attention, respects the different learning styles and opinions of others. So some people need different ways of learning. Hopefully you picked the Explorer. Several things will make this course a huge bridge for you. Do your missions. So the next class is Wednesday, is that right? I think the next class is Wednesday. Make sure you do your mission 2 before Wednesday. Okay? If you need to know what that is, we'll figure it out. Expectations for the power session, ground rules, we all kind of know about that. It's basically being an adult. It ain't that hard, you know. So this is your mission statement sheet. You all should have these. If you don't, you can certainly get those through KW University or check with Rhonda on them maybe. You can get them. Now, let's get down to some other meat here. What do we mean by your big why?
Get you excited to do this.
Okay, what gets you excited? All right.
Motivation.
Huh?
Motivation.
Motivation.
What helps you push through?
What pushes you through when you hit the wall? Gary? Huh?
While you're in real estate.
Why are you here? Why are you in real estate? What is your husband accomplishment? And now here's the thing. I heard Gary Keller say this in the class one time. He said, it probably has nothing to do with money. Okay, so if we throw money out of the equation, what is it that drives you? Is it just to know that you did a good job? That you did an exceptional job, or you did the best job you know how to do? And the problem is that I just want to do the best I can. What's the problem with that? Okay. How do you know what your best is?
Quantify that.
How do you quantify it? Yeah. How do you know? How do you know what your best is? I don't know what my best is. I know some things that I've done that I've been awfully proud of. But is that my best? I don't know if that's the best I could do or not.
My-
Yeah.
My personal trainer tells me, when you think you're at your finish, you actually have 20% left.
I was thinking this in an exercise kind of train of thought there. So yeah, absolutely. You know, if you've ever done much training, my only training is 12-ounce curls.
No, I'm thinking I'm gonna die, and he's like, no, you got this.
You
I'm
got
like, I
it.
really don't,
Yeah,
and then
come
he
on,
pushed
push,
me through it, and I
push,
can do it,
push.
so
Yeah,
it's there.
yeah, absolutely. There's always more than you think you got. Some of you have seen the thing, what movie was it, where the guy was, and he had him on his back. And
Giants facing the
Huh?
Facing the Giants. It's a high
Facing,
school
facing,
football.
yeah, facing the
Yeah.
Giants. If you haven't seen that, find that, because there's a great fabulous lessons in there. So he blindfolds one of his players, these are high schoolers, puts the other guy on his back, right? And he tells him, he said, okay, I want you to carry him from here to here. And I'll tell you when you get there. And he kept pushing him. You're almost there, you're almost there. Come on, only 10 more yards to go. Don't you quit on me, keep going, keep going, keep going. And it's very motivating to see this, because you don't know what you can do until you've done what you think you can do. Okay? So just be aware of this. So your big why, I don't know what that is for any of you. This is not, in my opinion, an easy task to figure that out. What is it that really drives you? But start with something. You can refine it, you can alter it, you can totally change it. What is it that why am I doing this? What am I after here? Okay? Set your monetary goal. And then be accountable. to it. Well, that's the second time we talked about accountability this afternoon. Be accountable to your big why, your monetary goal, and use influencing sales makers. 3 business calls today. Did Angela talk to you about in the like the kickoff thing last week about bringing your phones and making phone calls? I don't know if she's planning to do that or not, but be prepared when you come to class to have a few people that you can call and make some phone calls and make them in the room where everybody else is here. That's not natural, but it's okay. All right.
Is that tomorrow night or Wednesday?
Well, I'm not sure how they're going to structure that. We always talked about making calls during class, even if it was only for 5 or 10 minutes. So we need to clarify that.
Okay. We have a class tomorrow night though, right?
Yeah, I think that's right. Or was it Wednesday?
But it's like part 2 of the.
Oh, you've got the Scripps class tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Ignite number 2 is Wednesday, and then Ignite number 3 is on Thursday, I
It says
think.
Ignite Workshop, what is the workshop? It says Ignite Workshop, what's the workshop?
I think it's on scripts and dialogues. How are we going to talk to people? What are we going to say? Danette, I think, is driving that. And it's like anything else. If you practice it, you'll get better at it and you'll get right. So come to that tomorrow. Spend some time with that and just learning some different scripts and dialogues. You got a whole book of scripts, didn't you? Okay? So I'm going to tell you, a lot of that's not going to feel natural. But nothing feels natural right now as far as real estate goes, right? So one more thing is not going to happen. Again, like I said earlier, screw it up enough to get it right. And then you'll find it'll just start rolling off the tongue. You'll find yourself in conversations with people that then you go, God, where did that come from? That's pretty good. Okay. And you're not going to learn them all, but you're going to find those 3 or 4, maybe half dozen scripts that you can feel very comfortable with and that will produce results that you're looking for. I probably lean on 2 or 3 scripts almost all the time. Whether I'm talking to a buyer or something. So they're just critical to your vote.
So before you go on, just to clarify, so tomorrow night then, we're gonna
You'll be working on
be
scripts.
here,
Uh-huh.
working on script.
Yep, yep, that's correct. Okay. Ground rules, of course. Get to class on time, don't be late. Thank you all. God, everybody was right on the money here. I think maybe the 6 o'clock idea was a good deal. Be present, laptops, tablets, phones, vibrator off. How you participate here is how you'll participate everywhere. Okay? Wouldn't you much rather screw up in front of your friends than you had in front of a client? Yeah, doesn't make most sense, you know. And besides that, we're all in here, and we're all in the same boat. So there are no stupid, no crazy questions or statements. All right? Respect different learning styles. Know that some people are not going to do very well in even in the lecture environment. That's not what I'm trying to do. Hopefully we're drawing out some things out of it. Some people work better in groups. I hate working in groups. I just do. You know, it's not my way of learning. Some people are great working in the things. And you know, I know my nephew got his master's degree a few years ago from ASU. He never came here. It was all online and in these study group pods all over the country. And they had this phone call thing. That would drive me batty. I could never get anything done that way. So understand that people learn in different ways. None of us is as smart as all of us working together. Yeah, exactly. Consider everything we discussed confidential, so anything comes out in here, just keep it here or to yourself. Nobody else needs to know. Commit to implementing at least one thing that you learn. So hopefully you'll pick up at least one or two things tonight that you can start on tomorrow. Right? Have fun. I mean, good Lord, if we don't have fun with this, why in the world are we even here? Right? It doesn't have to be boring and frustrating and everything else. So have fun. Questions? Stop it. Okay, back to our original discussion. So what's your job? Lead gen, that's our job, right? Who's your customer? Anybody and everybody out there. If they can breathe, there's potential business. I mean, really, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of silly to say that, but if they can breathe, that's potential business. And your product is your knowledge, expertise, and ability to deliver a stellar experience every time. So we're gonna look at 4 skills. Know your big why and your monetary goal. We already talked about that to a degree. Commit to daily lead generation, learning the scripts and dialogues, or using influencing sales language, and be accountable. Pretty easy, actually, isn't it? Only 4 things we have to learn and be good at. So that's where we're going. All right, maybe I got a little ahead of myself a while ago. We talked about your big one. What stirs your soul? You ever thought about that? What gives you goosebumps to think about? Most of us have probably never thought about that very effectively, have we? How many of you ever heard a song you go, oh, crap, man, what a powerful tune that is. Did anyone see Carrie Underwood on the Grammys? Was it the Grammy show that she came on? I was that way after that song, because that was her first live performance after her fall and her scar face getting all messed up and that kind of stuff. Now, I don't follow her, but I kind of like to watch the Grammys, just see who the stars now and that kind of thing. I used to follow music a whole lot. And when she finished that song, I had chills. Because if you listen to the words, it goes right along with what she had to go through in that whole thing. And I thought, well, yeah, she's a national star, so she fell down the steps. Big flipping deal. It kind of was a big flipping deal in case you hadn't figured that out. So, find what stirs your soul. What makes you crazy? My grandkids, they are an absolute delight 90% of the time. And other times I just want to choke. And so, you know, it may be your kids and seeing them accomplish great things. You know, I'm so proud of my daughter, I can't stand it. I only have one child. Jamie's 30, she was born in 80, so what does that make her, 38 this year? I have a 38-year-old child. Where'd that come from? Okay? And it's amazing what that child has accomplished in her nursing career. She's an young nurse. She got that job she never should have gotten. She got it anyway. She's so funny because she'll tell the doctors off. I mean, she just, you need to come see this patient. Well, can't it wait till the morning? No, it can't wait till in the morning. This child's got tubes running everywhere all over them. You know, they're 3 days old, and you need to come see this patient, do what you need to do. She's so funny when she tells these stories. I'm like, Jane, God, somebody's going to can you over that kind of stuff. She says, they got to take care of the child. You know, don't put it off. But she has such a passion for that. It's unbelievable how I just am amazed at how driven she is in that career. I don't even know where she gets it from, quite honestly. Because I love what I did, but to have that kind of passion for it, I don't know if I really had that kind of passion for it. So it's exciting to see somebody like that, isn't it? Anybody following the NBA playoffs? Which I could care less about most of those guys, but LeBron James, I think the guy's pretty cool. He's just amazing. He's an unbelievable player. What stirs your soul? What drives you? Why are you in this business? Why are you going to go through school? Why do you go through all that if you don't want to make it work? Why are you in this business? What drives you? What do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? One of my biggest challenges is my upbringing. My mom and dad, I never really knew them to set goals. Like I say, he was a minister. Their philosophy was, I don't want to get on a religious kick here, but their thing was, God will provide. I don't have to work in it. There were a lot of nights we ate cream chip beef on toast. And I didn't even know that we didn't have much going on. I never got allowance. We got to play sports. We got clothes on our back, food on the table. That was about my experience as a child growing up. Until I got I mowed grass and raked leaves until I was old enough to get a paper route at 12 years old. And I've been working ever since. 53 years, I've been earning my money. But I just did it because that's what I had to do. I'm not saying, look what I did. That's just what you had to do. You know, if some of you have ever been through those kind of things, you do what you gotta do. Don't we all do that kind of? You just do what you gotta do. You figure it out, right? So, what do you hope to achieve for yourself and your family? You need motivation and inspiration for doing it, and that's where your big why comes into play. What's it that's driving you? Okay? Passion. Oh man, what a word. How many of you could say that people you know are passionate about what they do? I don't know that many people who I'd say are passionate about what they do. Other than the people that I know in this business, and right now that is this company in a lot of ways, the people are passionate. Okay? So we talk about have a passion for your big why. Follow models. Let me tell you, real estate is not that complicated. How many of you ever baked a cake? And if you follow the directions, the cake usually turns out pretty good, right? Bake a pie, same kind of thing. What's they so different? Follow the recipe, i.e. the systems and the models, and it typically works out okay. It may not work out as quick as you wanted, but whose fault is that? It becomes a skills issue for me, that doesn't. So follow the models. Time on a task over time is what's going to create the success. Do it enough until it becomes second nature. Time on the task over time. You'll hear that kind of conversation from time to time. Top agents all articulate their big why. They know what that is. So that's why it's so important. You've got to figure out what does that look like for you. What is that big why that's going to drive you? For somebody young like Garrett, it could be getting through school, getting this stuff done, finding the right work to do, all those kinds of things. So, to have your financial success tied directly to your efforts instead of a salary or nobody else's opinions of it. I vowed, I've only been, I was let go from one job, I went to work for another company, and that company was bought out, and I knew I wasn't gonna be kept on there, which was okay with me because I was sick of it anyway. And that's when I made the decision to go into real estate. So for those of you that have made decisions like that in some fashion, you can do this. It may not be pretty sometimes, but again, whose fault is that? Mine. It ain't real estate's problem, my problem. Okay? So there's nothing better. I said then, I said, I will never work for another man so long as I live if I can have my way about it. I'd rather be broke working for myself than rich and working for somebody else. Now that may be kind of stupid, but I feel that strongly about it. It's just, I don't like it anymore. Don't like it anymore. So build your own business and achieve a bigger life through your business. Most of us The successful people we've known over our lives have all been self-employed. Is that fair? Is that a fair statement? Unless you're, MBA from Harvard or something, and maybe you get a huge CEO kind of job or something, but how many people actually get those? Well, that's the very elite of the crowd. Doesn't the Verizon guy, money that guy makes every year, like, is anybody really worth, $50 million a year? I don't know. Professional athletes, are they really worth that kind of money? I have a hard time swallowing that. Maybe that's jealousy. Okay. So here's a little task for you. 12 months from now is what? June the 4th, 2018?
19.
Again, like I said, don't ask me what I did yesterday. I can tell you all kinds of stuff as a kid. And imagine the date is today. Your business is thriving and your life is everything you dreamed of. Can we make those kind of things happen in a year? Absolutely. Absolutely. Your customers rave about the experience and the value that you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Isn't that what we want to have happen? That everybody they know, when they think of real estate, we want them to think of us. Simple enough, right? Okay. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are consistently referring business your way. My challenge is all my family somewhere else. I have no family here. And that may be something that's kind of isolated more to this part of the country. How many of you have family that live close by? Here. Okay. So, don't forget that they forget what you do. Would that not just eat your lunch if they did something related to real estate and didn't call you first? You're helping others live their dream of owning a home because you're focused on helping them get what they desire. Comes back to, where's our focus? Building foundation and a minimum for your entire career. Building relationships and experiences and the income you desire. You're the top agent in your market center, or rookie of the year if you're new. Okay? You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while I moved it the wrong way. You take care of the 20%. You're on the path to building a career worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living. Does that sound like a pretty good life? Mm-hmm. That's a pretty good type of lifestyle, isn't it? Okay. Any thoughts on that?
That's my big why.
What's your big why?
Right.
That's why
A career
it's not
worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living.
Well, that is a big why.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What else? Any other thoughts on that? I should have had you guys read those, and I apologize. Nobody? I hate that we've got away from actually having books for you. Because there's always places to. So what is your driving motivation? How many of you know? I think you got a pretty good feeling for what your big why is. Okay? Yeah, would you want to share?
Well, I got my license a year ago, and my goal at that time was to retire early. And I'm retiring on June 30th this year, which is 4 years earlier than I had planned. And so my big why is becoming more important, but it's all about, to me, exactly what this says, is financial freedom, well-life balance, and having a career and not just a job.
And some of you think, oh, I got all the time in the world. You don't have all the time in the world. I promise you, you don't have all the time in the world. Who else raised their hand?
Mine is to live a life of purpose
Life for purpose.
and fulfillment,
Okay.
which comes from helping others get what they want, which brings monetary prosperity to you
Okay.
usually. And so that's kind of a cycle.
Money is a result of fulfilling your passion, I think. I believe that would be officially. Anita, you have raised your hand?
I was, doing foster care for 5 years and knowing the system and the systems that are in place and the broken part of the system, I want to build a community, farm for the children that are within the system with career. There's a lot of children in the system and they're moved about 12 placements per year. So my drive is to have 3 homes, starting at the level that I do, which is the high-risk level, and then to step them down within the same community. Because once I step them down, it takes me about 2 years to hone them and to reroute neurons, and then I step them down to another placement, so they go into another home. And it's just a career of replacements. They go from county to county to county to county. So they have, they graduate, they're 18, or they don't graduate, they're 18. They have no graduation, they're about 2 years behind on schooling. They have no education, no job skills. They have never had a job because they can't get jobs because of all their going around. They have no driver's licensing because they can't get a driver's license because they don't have a parent. So the state won't allow them to drive because then they're responsible if they get into a car accident. So if I set them down within the community, they're gonna have a career of 5 to 10 years being within the same community. So I wanna have a farm with 3 homes, the high risk, the step down, and then the step out, which is once they turn 18, they're no longer sent to men and women, what do they call those, shelters. They're sent to shelters, men shelters and women shelters, because they have no people to go to, no skills, no money. So as soon as they turn 18, I've seen a foster provider do it. They put their stuff in a trash bag, they call a taxi, and they ship them to a shelter. So they turn into prostitution and drugs, and that's how they make their living.
I wish I had
So-
something that altruistic.
That's-
I know. Gosh,
That's my
amazing.
why. I
That's,
need
well,
property. and
congratulations,
I need
that,
3
that's
homes,
awesome.
and that's my why, is to make a crap ton of money so that I can help the children. There's
You can do that.
70,000 children just in Arizona.
We obviously have a heart for it already, so that's a big piece of the puzzle. Okay. Anybody else want to share?
It's a long why, so.
Hold on, that's all right, that's all right.
After that,
Huh?
I said after that.
After that, yeah, it's like, where do we go? Where do you take that?
You
I
got
don't know.
this.
But, that's awesome. And what I hear in that is that you have a plan, you have a clear vision of what that's gonna look like.
I'm a 5-year plan.
Okay, that's what our why needs to do for us. It gives us a very clear vision. And again, it may shift and it can change from time to time. You know, like, you know, when my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, my why, if you will, shifted because of this life event, and things would change. You know, my life has changed since my strokes. I mean, I came out, you know, with flying colors for the most part. Still struggle with some things, but you know, I never. When I had the thing, I didn't even know it. You know, I had the MRI thing, all that kind of stuff, and we found out I had 2. I'm going, how did I have 2 strokes? That happens to old people. I kind of am an old people now. But now I watch and I can recognize, okay, something's not right there. So anything, it was a wake up call for me. So my why is take care of myself. Do a better job at that. Which way? Okay. So know what your why is. Know what it's going to mean for you. You know, what is achieving your goal? What do you get when you do that? What ways is your life going to change? How is that going to impact you? And then what doors will open for you? So I want you guys to do this, okay? Remember, education without implementation is, you know, no value. It's purely entertainment. So take advantage of these things. We already talked about that. So what kind of things can get in the way? I'll tell you one that I know right now. Ourselves,
Yeah.
okay? What was other?
Limiting beliefs.
Limiting beliefs. Can't do that. What makes you think you can do that? Who's usually the ones that do that the most? Family. Aren't they the ones? What were you gonna say, Anita?
Well, your limits is having your negative people around you.
See, what's important? How many of you have kids? How many have ever taught, when they're going to play, who are you going to play with? Where do they live? I mean, this was my life. Who's their mom and dad? What do they do? Do parents even still do that now? Huh? Some do, some don't. You know, when I was growing up, my mom and dad wanted to know everything. Who are they? Where do they live? Where do they go to church? That was always important to them. Where do they work? That was important.
Are they gonna be home?
Are they going to be home? Oh, God, is that not huge? I see on our community Facebook page all the time, you know, there's, you know, looks like young kids in the park, and they're jumping up and down on the picnic tables, just for an example. And so they look like they're about 10 or 12 years old. I'm going, whose 10 or 12-year-olds are out at 11 o'clock at night? Their parents don't know they're there, and they're out there doing damage. Who are these people? That doesn't really sound like an old guy going. But you understand what I'm saying? Is that important? Yeah. It's important for us to know what can get in the way. And how do you prevent it? What do you do differently? How do you change that? How do you make that do, something different? We already talked a little more about why. All right, now. And your, you can get this materials. You got a copy right there. So, in your materials that you can either download and print yourself, you're going to need to go through this process. Okay? Because it's the only way you know where you're going. Otherwise, you're just kind of floundering around out there like an amoeba or some other kind of protoplasm or something. This is how you're going to be able to figure out that what you're going to need to do. So, your average sales price. You probably don't have an average sales price yet, do you? But we know that our average sales price in our market is what? Huh? About $250, $255, something like that. So, for the time being, for the purposes of this, then use that number. All right? The average commission rate. Are you always going to get 3%? I'm going to say it depends on which side of the deal you're on. Okay? You're going to learn about commission discussions and so forth with your sellers. Okay? And I'm going to encourage you, if you're going to cut the commission, you take the hit, not the guy on the other side of the deal. It annoys the living dickens out of me to see these listings for 2% or buyer commission 2% or maybe 2.5%. And let me tell you something, the more we cut our own throats, the more we're going to bleed.
I've seen a lot of two lately.
You know why?
That's where they're offering it at the buyer agent
They're
too.
agent owned.
Huh?
I don't know, agent owns or
Agent
agent
owned, or
percent.
they're a builder.
I see them.
It's a lot of, I've seen it every, I mean, agent owned, builder.
And you know what I
Why
think?
don't we
that-
can
Kind of
write
more
that in
larger,
our offer.
higher property.
We can write that in our offer.
Well, you can, well, no, commissions can't be negotiated in the offer.
Not during.
Commissions are negotiable between the agents or brokers,
I'm sorry.
technically, okay?
Broker done that.
Yeah.
You
So-
can write it in your buyer broker.
You can write it by your broker agreement.
Go to the buyer to make up that 1% if that's what you choose to do so.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, you could put in your buyer broker agreement that you get 3%. If they're only paying 2%, then they'll agree to make it up. But you can ask for it in concessions, and then it gets applied back. So
That's
there's
what
ways
I've
to
seen.
work around it, yeah. What did you say?
Somebody was mentioning to me today that buyer's agents aren't showing the ones sometimes that have the lower commissions on there, that they just don't want to show them to
Okay.
their clients.
Those guys have the same ethics that the sellers, the listing agents do that are taking listings for 5%.
Well, I'm working with an investor, and it seems to me that everything he shows me is 2.5%. So I just laugh, and I'm just like, because he's under buyer contract, I'm like, dude, can't you get somebody that pays normal? And I just make a joke with him because I know it, but he's just like, sorry.
Now,
But I show, you
you know,
have to.
we're a little off track there, but you can always still show those. You can always still do them. You can agree to take the 2.5 if you're happy with that. Maybe it's gonna be a guy's gonna buy 5. Yeah, well, okay, I can deal with that. But most people are not like that. So, I think that's a skills issue for the listing agent. Back to what we talked about is skills. How are you gonna handle that objection? And can you walk away from the deal? I had a guy tell me, I got an agent that will do it for 4%. I said, you can take that deal. I'd take it too if I got offered that. And it stunned him.
It's probably only worth 4%.
Let me ask you something. If, let's say you're gonna make $10,000 this month, and I'm gonna cut your, I'm just gonna cut your salary, just for this month. I'm gonna cut your salary by 20%. Are you gonna work as hard as you did before? Do you think that guy's gonna do that? Somebody say, I don't care, he's willing to do it for 4%, I'm gonna give it to the, okay? Good luck, and you know how that works out for you, because, you know, if he's listing the house for 4%, you gotta be paying a buyer's agent something. There's a whole commission discussion before you think about it. So anyway, we got down a rabbit trail there. So average commission rate, if you want to use 3%, use 3. If you want to use 2.5, use 2.5, whatever it is. Okay? That's entirely up to you. Jim does not set a limit or a requirement for what you have to take for listings. Okay? So the average commission is $6,000. So if you look at your GCI times 30%, capped at this, in this example, it was 20,000, it would be 15,000 for us. And your royalty cap's at 3,000, so we have an $18,000 cap if you think of it that way. All right? You multiply those out, do the math, and you will get your total dollars that you need in order once you hit your cap. Okay. So let's look at this. So this gives us a little bit better picture. Okay. So if our annual net GCI goes 100,000, that seems to be the number that everybody starts out. If I can make $100,000, that'd be great. You know, I don't have many people say, well, if I could make $50,000, I'd be happy. Is that much money now? Really not that much money. But here again, it's not about what anybody else thinks your goal ought to be, but what do you want your goal to be? And our goal is to help provide support so that you can reach your goal, whatever that is. Okay? You got your market center cap, instead of 23, this would be 15,000. Okay? So this number would become, 18. This would become 118,000. Okay? Your average commission per transaction is 6,000 in this case, so if you do the division on that, you're looking at about 19 or 20 deals.
Oh, I lost. It says the market center cap's 23, but you said 18.
Ours is 18 here.
Oh.
That's where that's coming from.
Oh.
So, and then if you, average commission per transaction, this is based on a $200,000 sale. If ours is at 250, maybe it does end up at 7,500, okay? So then you do the division. and you figure out how many. Then you end up, when you started looking at it that way, you go, that's really not that much big a deal. When you think about, oh my God, $130,000? I've never made $130,000 in my life. But then when you break it down into those, and then what you're gonna do is take this. See if this goes the rest of the way. So then you're gonna take this and you're gonna put it in, well, they actually got that already there. So this says ahas from going through this process. What do you take away from this? Huh? I said, what did you take away from just thinking through that briefly?
You're gonna have to do 21 transactions in a year, so that's like 2 a month.
Mhm.
So how many people do you need to talk to?
So you either have to, so then it comes down to, because you're gonna take this another step, I may be getting ahead of here in the lead generation, so, okay, how many phone calls do I have to make to talk to how many people it is? Okay? And then how many people that I actually talk to are people that are gonna become suspects? Okay? And how many of those become prospects? And how many of those prospects are gonna turn into something that will actually produce income for us? And then it becomes pretty easy if you work that backwards. Am I losing some of you here? Everybody with me? I don't want you to go on the last place over there, you know what you're talking about. And so when you get to that number, you go, okay, so all I have to do is dial 25 phone calls a day, based on that calculation. Hey, fine, I can do that. I can do 25 calls a day. And then you may figure out that you can do 50 a day. And then what happens is, you're gonna get better at what you do, you'll get better converting those, and you'll get better converting those into actual buyers or sellers, you'll get better converting, getting them sold, or having them buy, and you end up doing, the better you get, the less you're gonna have to do, if you will. Does that make sense? Okay. You become more efficient, yeah, that's the way to look at it. So, you understand why the training and the teaching is so important? Because if you can get better at what you, here's what I've always said, if you have a certain goal you want to make, and if you're not making it, you really have two choices. You either got to do more of it, or get better at it. And which one would you rather do? I'd rather get better at it, because I don't want to work anymore, I already am. I'm working enough as it is. I have other priorities in my life besides just work. So this is why the education, see why Keller Williams talks about being learning based. Again, it just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? It just kind of makes sense to me. You gonna say something? You have that look on your face like, oh yeah, that makes sense now.
I have a question.
Yes.
On my KW, there's a calculator, right? Or are you getting into that now, about where you just pop in your $100,000 and it calculates everything out for you?
Mm-hmm.
And don't you need a password or some code to get in there? I remember Angela giving it to me one time.
Yeah, and the
And I-
password's only good for a day.
Yeah.
And she's having surgery this week, so she's.
And then I think you have to change it. Maybe I changed mine, but I can't remember now.
But if
Who would
if
you-
you've done it one time,
Yeah.
you guys know what she's talking about? The calculator that does this for you on the KW site, you have to have a password or code to get into it the first time, and then it's just there from now on. Then you can get into it anytime. It's called your CGI, I believe it is. Rhonda can get it for you, yeah.
Remember where to find
I don't remember either, but that's what I was looking for.
Maybe over the technology tab. Can't remember.
But you put in your 100,000 and it has the, yeah.
It
calculates
just
the-
calculates all the rest of it out
Yeah.
for you.
That's good for setting goals, but, I mean, if you wanna keep track of anything, I would use.
Oh, yeah, it's for goal, it's
I would
purely for,
use-
it's purely.
Probably for goals, but
setting.
now the cool thing is, inside KW also, because the company has to report to corporate commissions and it's all built into the system. And then you can see on your homepage, it'll tell you where you are and how you are against your goals, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? So, we kind of got down the rabbit trail there, but yeah, check with Rhonda tomorrow if you're having trouble with that. Because once it's there, it's there for good. All right, real estate was a factory. How long does it take to make a single widget? So in this example, you got 4 steps, 2 hours each step, you got 8 hours to make that widget. You would also know that if you didn't do step 1 at the end of the day, you'd have no widgets because you didn't get everything done that you needed to do. See where this is going? Does this make sense? Okay. Real estate's no different. Lead gen, appointments, agreements, contracts closed, 90 days. Okay? For every day you don't lead generate, 90 days later you can expect no money. Wow. Okay? What you do today is going to show up 90 days down the road. Huge, huge. Okay? So we're almost always going to have a 90-day lead time. From the activity to seeing the results. Does that make sense? Okay. So I got your answers up here also. How long does it take to get a buyer or seller to sign a contract typically? In this example, or what we're saying here, is usually somewhere between 1 to 60 days, could be more. Okay? Depending on the situation. I mean, I got a buyer right now that I met probably, it's been at least 45 days ago. And he's waiting on a court issue to settle before he can actually buy. And every week it's like, well, should be next weekend, should be this, should be this, should be this, and then just courts move at the speed of molasses anyway. It's just horrible. How long does it take for transaction to close typically? Huh?
48 days.
Okay, 30 to maybe 45 days typically. That's something to certainly consider. Okay, regardless of which side of the deal you're on. So does your lender become an important player in that? Absolutely, absolutely. There for a while, the lenders were out about 5.5 weeks to close them. But they've refined their systems now and gotten better at what they do so that they can still close stuff typically in about 30 days. A good lender will. Okay. How quickly do you want to get paid? Or how long can you go without a payday? Is it that kind of a determining factor for us? So, what's it going to take you to get paid so you can find your big why? It's a 4-letter word. Work. Do the work. Okay? Lead generate, build your database of contacts, communicate with people about real estate daily, commit to go on a lot of appointments, and practice your scripts. It isn't rocket science, is it? Really not. So here we look at our lead generation funnel. So the leads come into the top of the funnel, which lead to appointments, which lead to agreements, which lead to contracts, which leads to closing. You see why leads are so important. Does every lead turn into something good?
No.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Ignite's going to go through all of these with you. Why can some agents make 100 calls a day and others fear the phone? They're just scared to make them. just scared to make phone, afraid of the no.
Rejection.
Change it, we, sometimes when we do, like lead generation marathons or the Madness Friday things that we do from time to time, instead of setting a goal for appointments, set a goal for number of no's. Turn the no into a positive. How many no's can I get? And then you'll find yourself getting upset when you get the yes. Oh, you said yes, now I gotta start over again. You know? So how many no's can you get? I don't know how many you can get. So just see how many no's you can get. And then if you make it about getting the no's when the yes comes, it's a big deal. Okay? Instead of, oh, another no, another no, another no. Maybe one little win though, to kind of jack you back up, doesn't it? Leverage your script, build a relationship, ask for the business. I think that's where a lot of us miss the boat. We don't ask. We just don't ask for the business. That sometimes can take a little getting used to, I think. To just ask, say, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell real estate? How hard is that to ask? And if you want to really get serious about it, in the next 90 days. All right? So ask for the business. Ask for the referrals. Come from contributions. Is there anything else I can do to help you? That's huge. Huge. Okay? And what are most people going to say when you ask that question? Nothing. We're doing great. Awesome. Is it kind of a loaded question? But the fact that you asked is huge. Huge. All right? You got your daily 10-4s. If you have, do you have your what's the thing we were talking about just a minute ago? Huh?
The 411?
Not your 411 necessarily, but the your assignments, your mission statements. Okay, it talks about this. Add 10 new contacts a day into your database every day. How are you going to do that? Once you have everybody in there that you know, now what?
Open houses, door knock.
Open house, door knock, talk to the guy in line at the grocery store. You just don't know when you're going to run across that person. Wear your name tag. That's huge. Barbie King has probably gotten more business off of her just having her name tag on than most other things that she does. Is that right, Garrett? I mean, I've heard her say she just gets so much business just because she's got her name tag on, whether she talks to anybody first or not. She's told me that. Prospects. Speak to 10 people in your database every day. Write 10 notes to people you know or have recently connected with. I'm going to bang on you a little bit about handwritten notes. People don't do it. What do?
Text, email, or text.
Text. You're lucky if they can get an email from me anymore. My grandmother was a master at writing thank you notes. She lived by herself. She didn't drive. She'd walk everywhere she went or somebody had to pick her up and take her. And anytime anybody did anything for her, I don't care what it was, if it was just bring her a loaf of bread from the store, she was writing a thank you note that afternoon. And it's huge. How many of you like to get them? Isn't that kind of a surprise? You get that little thank you note in the mail, or just somebody saying, hey, happy birthday. Don't we all like to get those cards? Then why don't we do it? We're lazy and it takes time. That we'd rather spend, doing whatever else we're gonna do.
Just have to have a system.
You just have to have a system. And then, there you go. 10 contacts a day, 10 people into your database, write 10 notes and preview 10 homes every week. How many of you out there looking at homes now? Go to the new home subdivisions, if nothing else. Just ride around and look for open houses and walk in and introduce yourself. Could that be an opportunity? Maybe they're sitting there and they may have said, this is the last open house I'm doing until if I don't get anything out of this, I'm going to go somewhere else. Is there an opportunity there? I've been doing everything they're telling me. This ain't working. I'm going to do one more and let's see what happens. It's a great way to meet other agents. Great way to make connections. It's a great way to learn the market.
I think it's a great way to learn what not to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
When I'm waiting in the front of the house, waiting for the open house, and she's 6 minutes late, and she drives up, pulls in real fast, and she's in flip-flops, and I'm like, I think she's the agent.
Yeah. It's a good way to learn what not to do. Good point, okay? So preview the homes, get to know the market, you know, especially if you don't have anything else going on, you've done all your other stuff and your lead gen, go look at homes. So your daily 10-4, did Angela talk to you guys about this the other day? Yes, no? Okay. You can find that on the KW side also. You'll be committed to completing the 10-4 daily every day, beginning today. The daily 10-4 sets minimum goals for each day. So we go back to these. This is your 10-4. Okay? You have 10 things for each one, 4 different activities. Okay? Go on managing your database. Add 10 people to your database with all their contact information. If you got people that you haven't seen in a while, isn't that a great way just to make contact again? I haven't talked to you in a while, and just wanted to reach out and say hi, see how you guys are doing, let you know I made a career change here, and you know, want to verify that I've got accurate information for you. Easy to do. All right, so connect with the people. Let them know your business. Ask for the business. Always ask for referral business and fight your follow-up no's. Know your market. Preview your homes. We already talked about that. How many people have? How many of you have people in your phone? How many? 100, 200? There's a great database for you to start with. Okay. But get them into your system. We have the online tracking system. You go to mykw.kw.com, education, Keller Williams University, Ignite My Tracker. And that's where you can put those numbers in there and follow them. And then at the end of Ignite, the office can pull that information and see how we did. Okay. And again, it's meant to be fun and motivating. It helps keep you focused. Okay? It's not meant to keep a thumb on you. None of us want that. We just don't like it anyway. Okay. So you guys don't have anything, but this is what it's going to look like, and it'll show you each day of those 4 tasks that you did. Add it to your database, number of connections, handwritten notes, and homes preferred. Previewed, sorry. So you just put it in the student dashboard and put in your numbers every day. Really simple, straightforward stuff. It's not too hard. So here's influencing sales language. Maybe you're sitting in an open house. Did you find everything you were looking for? Go ahead, look around. Let me know if I can help you. I don't like to follow people around in open houses. Now, if it's I think it's Barbie or Mary. I can't remember which one does the open house class, but they talk about some of these things. You know, it involves kind of counseling your seller too. You know, don't leave valuables out, hide away your stuff. You know, put things in safes, whatever you need to do. You know, so be smart about it. It's really kind of tough, in my thoughts, for one person to do a 2-story home. So I would say if you're sitting 2 stories, maybe find another partner, and, you know, split up the leads that come in, or, you know, you take this one, I'll take the next one, or however you want to work that out is fine, because I think it's dangerous to turn people loose in a house that's occupied, to go on the second floor with nobody around. That's just me. You guys can decide how you're gonna have that. So you're buying the large screen TV, or you're looking to have one in your home for the big game this weekend? Just a question you can ask. That may not feel like you, but find something that will. You're talking to people about their real estate needs and the needs of people they know. Back to the entrepreneurial and purposeful way. Just chat up whoever happens to cross your path. If real estate comes up, great. If it doesn't, oh well. I'm sure I'll get a deal one day. Or you can say, know exactly who you want to talk to, block the time to communicate with them, and be prepared to have great conversations that lead to providing value in exchange for them helping you grow your business. I think it really comes down to just be proactive. You know, you can't. I've never had anybody knock on my door and ask to buy a house in 15 years. I know that's probably hard to believe. Never had anybody do that. You've got to put yourself in opportunity's way. And you got to say hi. How many of you can do that? How many of you can stop at the grocery store on the way home tonight and go and just say hi to the cashier? Maybe she'll talk back, maybe she won't, maybe he will, maybe he won't. Doesn't matter. Just get in the habit of saying hi. Nod to people. Everybody you see in the store, hi, how are you? You know, the other thing that works really well is talk to the kids. This is my favorite way to meet people. Talk to the kids. Everybody won't think you're weird. Some of them will, but everybody won't, okay? Talk to the kids. Look for a family getting out of a car when you go to park your car. Don't try and find the closest one to the door. Find a place where you can get into dialogue with people, because you just don't know. And if you got a badge on, they may say, oh, so you're in real estate. Holy cow, there's the door wide open. I'm going to barge through that thing as fast as I can go. All right? And if you wear your name tag, people will ask you, so how's the market? Because they want you to think that they kind of know what's going on, and they really don't know anything. Okay? Fair enough? Scripts are cool. I hated scripts when I started. I hated them. And you will too. How many of you I've already tried doing the script thing? It's just like, oh God, this is horrid. It's not fun initially. But what you'll find is you do them enough, they'll start to become second nature. Now I can carry on a conversation with anybody about real estate and just be writing the scripts off and not even think about it. And it will come. The purpose of a script, a great script is 100% customer oriented and benefits the customer throughout the entire conversation. Scripts are cool. And they're fun once you get used to them and get accustomed to them. How many of you ever gotten caught up with in a conversation with somebody and you go, good Lord, what are they talking about? Because they're just rambling. Is that fun? The script that bugs me the most is when I go to a car lot. And what do they say? They'll either say, what brings you in today? Don't they? Or, so I see you're looking at the Ford Focus over there. What's it going to take to put you in this car today? Oh, it just drives me absolutely batty. Just absolutely batty. Any of you like used car salesmen? Or car salesmen in general? Not really. I'm not a big fan. But until you buy a car from a dealer who they don't act like that. And that becomes a big deal. Okay? All right, so, but the script is it gives you a roadmap so you know where you're going. If you start out the conversation doing anything, you can ramble all over the place. And you'll wander down this rabbit trail, and you'll wander down this rabbit trail, and you'll forget what it was that we were even talking about. That's why scripts are important. Does an actor ever go into a play or a movie or whatever without the script? No, because the script is designed to take us from one place to another. Our scripts are no different, and that's why they're so important. So get good at scripts. You're not going to like them all, like I said. But find some that you can say, I like that. I could wrap my arms around that, and I can make that my own, and it will become part of who you are. So get good at scripts. It's the only way to move from E to P. Only way to move from entrepreneurial to purposeful. Okay, let me see here. Is this the one that was? Here we go. So we'll break this up just a little bit so you guys can. Okay. How's this?
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent at the office, your team leader, a Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent at the office, your team leader, a MAPS coach, or of course Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that leads to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there, ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo, oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily. Everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
Okay. What's your takeaway there?
Script should be mostly questions.
Scripts should be mostly questions, okay? I think they said in here, selling is not telling. Okay? A good salesperson is a good question asker. Okay? What brings you in today? Now we're just looking. Great. Why are you out just looking around?
I think you want to practice open-ended questions too, because you don't just want a yes, no.
Don't want yes/no questions. That's exactly right. Okay? It's too easy. So are you looking to buy a home? Yes. No. That's okay to ask those, but you don't want to get bogged down in something yes, no. You want to get them talking. Because you want them to walk away from there and go, wow, man, Marilyn was a great, boy, she was the nicest person. And all you did was ask questions. So become a good question asker.
And it helps you lead to where you want them to go.
You have to lead them where you want them to go. You can't drag them and you can't push them. You lead them where you want them to go. Okay? The another big thing out of there, well, what else did you guys take away from that? Yeah.
Practicing the scripts every day.
Practicing scripts, okay? What else?
You gotta have a positive, upbeat attitude.
Positive upbeat attitude. Now, do you need to be bouncing off the walls? No, because that guy may not like people that bounce off the walls. Okay? What were you gonna say, Susan?
Yeah, they said to hear the way that you're speaking based on the way that they're speaking.
They call it mimicking. Mimicking. So, if you got an old southern redneck like me that turns on the draw whenever he needs to, how many of you ever seen anything with Mo Anderson? You ever seen him with Mo Anderson stuff? She talks so slow, and she's from Texas and lives in Austin, and oh my God, Mo, spit it out. It just makes me crazy. Beautiful person, absolutely amazing person, but I cannot stand to listen to her. Okay? Because she talks so slow. Jewel of a person, though. So I can't let my prejudices about that get in the way of what I'm going to person. So mimicking is huge. Have you ever talked to anybody from New York? Anybody from the Northeast? Well, they can run a mile a minute. Go ahead to this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Slow down, dude, take a breath. You know? So it's important to listen to people while they talk and mimic that. You need to clean? What are you doing? So mimic and imitate. It makes people feel comfortable coming to that way. Okay? So I think that's huge there. Any other questions out of there? Thoughts? Don't you feel better when people talk like you do? I think we do. Okay, scripts, we talked about this a little bit. They give us confidence to do our job. They allow us to stay focused and present the material in the moment, and they provide consistency in what we say and do. I think of it as a roadmap. Every script that we have, if you'll look at them, starts from, this is where we start, and we have a beginning and an end desired result. What's our desired result from every conversation? Close, which means an appointment, right? Okay? That's our goal of every conversation. If we can have an appointment after every conversation we have, holy crap, would that not be awesome? Okay? So we have to have the goal. So that's why scripts are important. If we know where we're starting and this is what our desired end result is, we need to know how we're going to get there. Okay? That's why the scripts become the roadmap. And that's huge. They provide consistency. Okay? Limiting beliefs around scripts. What do you think? What are negative consequences for not learning scripts? Huh? Fumbling on your words. Oh gosh. Have you ever experienced that with another type of salesperson or consultant? Okay. What else can we have?
Losing focus on what they're trying to convey to you.
Okay. Lack of focus.
Lack of control.
Lack of control. Oh, that's a big one.
I think you're not going to be able to counter objections very well if you haven't practiced the scripts and practice objections.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. If you haven't practiced the scripts, you're not going to be able to handle the objections. Because the scripts are going to teach you those objections that can come. And they're huge. That's great. And then, of course, the end result is, may not have enough income to pay the bills, no vacation, whatever. Now say this. Everybody say it together. Because of scripts, I sell more houses and earn more income. Say it again. Because of scripts, I earn more houses and earn more income. Say it again. Because of scripts, I sell more houses and earn more income. Can you believe that?
Yes.
can you subscribe to that and go, okay, I need to work on my scripts? Okay? So those are huge. Scripts are extremely important. So here's the process. Memorize, practice, internalize. We're getting jammed up here, so I'm going to kind of speed through here. Get comfortable with them. Choose one script that best suits your status. What is new to real estate script? That's a great one for you to pick up on. You know, I'm new. What am I supposed to say to people? Okay. Then we have the scripts for those. Maybe you're new to Keller Williams. A couple of you have been in real estate for a little while, but you're new to our company. That's a great lead in as well. Just remind them that you're in real estate. This works great for people that you may not have talked to in a while. They knew you were in real estate at one time, but you haven't talked to them in a while because you kind of didn't do what you were supposed to be doing. Okay? And just, hey, yeah, just wanted to give you a call, touch bases with you. I haven't kept up with you like I should, but I just wanted you to know I was thinking about you today. How you doing? And most times, or many times, I think that will trigger in his mind that you were in real estate, and he'll probably ask you. Or if you ask him, so what are you doing these days? What's he going to follow up with? So what are you doing? See how easy that is? Okay? It's just having the conversation. New to the area script. It could be something that you could work with. I don't know how in the world you're ever supposed to get all this information in that quick time. So here's a couple of things. Who wants to read this one? This one right here. Not everybody at once. Thank you, Jeff.
Which one, the top one?
The top one,
New to real estate?
Yeah, hello, this is.
Hi, this is Jeff. Do you have a moment?
Sure.
I'd like to share some exciting news that I've become a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty.
Wow.
With this new partnership, I have all their knowledge working for me. Plus, my clients get all my enthusiasm and hard work. I thought about sharing this with you because I knew you'd be someone to help me grow my business.
Okay. So then if you come over here.
Continue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First, I'd like to share my real estate app with you. You can see what's going on anywhere, from your street to any place in North America. It's free and there's no cost to you. I can send you a text so you can link to it. Does that sound good?
Sure.
And I'd like to ask, who might you know from work, or your neighborhood, or a group you belong to, who's interested in buying or selling a home, or investing in real estate? Can you think of anyone right now?
And stop. Wait for them to answer. The old pregnant pause that's going to seem like an eternity. Wait for them to answer. Okay?
Thanks for taking a moment to think about it. I have a wealth of interesting and
I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, there we go.
I have a
Sorry.
wealth of interesting and timely information about the real estate market in your area, and I'd love to send it to you. Let me make sure I have your current email and address.
Okay. 123 Easy Street.
And do me a favor, please. If you do hear of someone with a real estate need, will you keep me in mind?
Sure.
And after you download the app and try it out, send me a text and let me know how you like it. Thank you for your time and help, and please let me know if there's anything else I can ever do for you.
Cool. Now, is that pretty simple and straightforward? And the cool thing is, once you send them the link to their app, it'll let you know when they've downloaded it. So now you've got another opportunity to give them a call back in a few days, say, hey, I noticed that you did download the app. Have you tried to use it yet? How's it working out for you? Okay. The cool thing about it to me is anywhere you are in the country, you'll find them. That is extremely, extremely cool to me. All right? Okay. So suffice it to say, scripts are very important. Let me find that other video. Okay, I got to screen through some of the rest of this. We've already talked about personal notes. You guys know how critical it is. You just got to do them. And don't matter that your handwriting sucks, because my handwriting's horrible, but it is legible. You can read it if you're relatively good. Okay. Write notes. Be accountable to your big why. Again, you've got to have somebody to keep you on target and focused. Okay. So make your list of all the things in the world that require your action and prune it. What's really important? What's in your 20%? What is life or death stuff for you? Okay? Prioritize them. The one thing I encourage you to get a copy of this, a book that Gary Keller wrote. It's really a very, he talks in here about the concept of, it's a pretty simple idea. If you focus on one thing. Anybody ever think you can multitask? You can't. Your brain cannot function on more than one thing at a time. Now it may shift gears real quick, but I jokingly say, in some ways jokingly, that multitasking is a lie from the pits of hell. It is impossible for a person to do that. I don't care how many moms think they can. They're juggling one thing at a time, and it's just happening really quick.
I was even told, or me and my counterparts, not to hire people who had multitasking on their resume. Over the last 3 years.
Really?
Not hire people who have multitasking on their
No,
resume.
you can't do it. The mind is incapable of focusing on more than one thing at a time. I've said that for years. Finally, I'm seeing other documentation coming out about that. So, one thing. What's the one thing that you can do right now such that everything else will become less necessary? I forget what the quote is exactly in there, but that's what it's saying. What's the one thing that I can do right now such that everything else becomes easier or totally unnecessary? One thing at a time. Talk about time blocking there. So, these are all important tasks. Okay? Return the call, schedule training class, your daily 10-4, marketing materials, lead generate. Pick up dry cleaning before they close. Is that a urgent task? Not usually. Okay. Order new business cards. How long does it take us to do that? If you're a very detailed person, it may take you hours to get that business card done and ordered. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Live by calendar. Gary Keller, I've heard him say he still keeps a paper calendar, and I think there's value in that myself as well, because when we start having to, okay, now I got to call up the app, now I got to get to the page, and then I got to scrub work. You know, is it just easier? Just open the book and say, yeah, I got some time on Thursday at 5. Gary still uses a paper calendar, and I think there's a lot of value. In some ways, I have poor technology. Okay, guys, we're kind of down to the wire here, and I apologize. We didn't get through all of this stuff. I want to encourage you to go back and look at all of it. Yes, sir.
One thing people might not know, if you door knock in Mesa or Scottsdale, you actually have to have a vendor's license. I don't know what the fine is in Scottsdale, but in Mesa it's $500 per complaint.
Oh, really?
Mesa. It's you go to the city. It's like $100 to get the license, but you have to get a fingerprint, and a fingerprint card here doesn't count. So
Is that for anybody door knocking for any reason, or is that salespeople?
Anybody. One of my neighbors turned in the pest control guy who was going door to door, and it's not the company that got the ticket. The police actually come and give them a ticket, and if you're handing out anything, then they have your name. So if you, I haven't heard of anybody getting fined more than $1,000, but it could potentially be thousands.
Oh, interesting.
So that's Mesa or Scottsdale, not Gilbert.
As far as I know.
I haven't heard anything about that. It's interesting.
So even like placing flyers in?
You cannot do that. You can't go onto other people, like their property or their around their cars without a vendor's license.
Interesting. So here's your missions for Wednesday. Your cues are all there for you. So, 4 things we talked about today, and I'm going to promise you I'll have you out of here in 2 minutes. Mindset, goal setting, accountability, and scripts. 4 key things for us. Your 6 personal perspectives. Again, there's those videos for you on KW Connects. Commit to self-mastery. Commit to the 80-20 principle. Move from E to P. Be learning based, because you're never going to learn it all anyway. So you might as well just keep learning. Okay. The foundation of your action plan. Remove your limiting beliefs and be accountable. Be accountable to somebody. Otherwise, it makes you flounder to a great degree. Your 10-4. We talked about. Any ahas here from this? Please, somebody have something.
My big aha is I've taken this class twice online, and this is the first time I've been present, and I got so much out of this tonight.
Good.
And a few pages of notes that I kind of found myself fast forwarding it when I was doing it online.
Okay. I had this abhorrence for online education. I realize its importance, and I get why people have it and why it's necessary. It bothers me that the Department of Real Estate is doing all online stuff.
But it's nice that you have this class at night now, so you can accommodate people that were working.
So, thank you all for being here. I hope you got something out of that. And no, keep those so you got them for the next day, next class. So you got your class Wednesday too. No. Let's see. Who's on Wednesday? Let's see here. Wednesday is Danette. No. Oh, actually, Amanda's doing on Wednesday. So make sure you do your homework and make a good impression on the boss. Okay. Make sure you do your stuff for Wednesday, because Amanda's here, and then on I guess it's Thursday, right? Kevin Barry will be here. If you don't know Kevin, he's a great guy too. All right, have a good night, guys, and thank you for your attention.
Oh, see you later.
It was good to see you. So what was it like?
Thank you, Lynn.
Uh-huh.
Who was this that you were waiting to hear?
So it's an 8 Oh, okay. So you get a mentor. You have something to work with you. I got a lot of, we already talked about that once, and it's so what, we talk about it again. Great. Yeah, I have that list. I'm old.
I'm trying to
I love
figure
this.
out whether it's better to do like a team or brand your own.
Alrighty,
Because I'm like a brand new agent, like I've never done this before. But teams, it's like 50-50 split, and then
Unless you really know.
what brokerage will you use? Percentage of money?
It's all about the training though, and that's what I, their training is phenomenal. That's what, it's all about training. Training and guidance, if you have the training, you're the guidance, you're the better. You're just gonna go by their rules and, you know, this is your business, you wanna make your own rules. That's how I look at it, you know, unless you know that you need that everyday push from a team, you know.
I mean, in the beginning, thank you, good night.
Good night.
In the beginning,